So
And so
all of the
yeah.
exchanges that signed up for the airdrop, we are working with them now to make sure that that nothing's changed, and that they'll be distributing the token in a timely manner. We can't guarantee it because we're not in control of their policy, but we are working extremely hard to make sure that it's distributed in a timely manner. And we're also putting in a governance proposal quite soon over how the airdrop functions. So as you know, you get 15% on day one. That's not changing. The governance proposal is structured to remove the risk of an exchange not passing on the future airdrops. We're really concerned about that because we have found it quite difficult dealing with some exchanges. So we want to remove that risk. We also want to make a much stronger reason for people to engage with the network and to reward those people much higher for engaging with the network. Much stronger reason for people to engage with the network and to reward those people much higher for engaging with the network. So we have a governance proposal coming for the token, which we think will deal with a number of things that have been outlined to us in the period in which we've been building, and we think present a substantially better way to do the airdrop.
Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh. And that was Hugo Filion, the CEO and co-founder of FLR Networks, speaking at a YouTube interview roughly 3 to 4 months ago, talking about the governance proposal and why they felt like they had to make changes and remove the risks from the exchanges and to substantially reward early participants. So in today's video, we're going to do a deep dive into the governance proposal described by the FLR team since March 30th. Numerous occasions. We're going to go through those all in the blogs. We're going to go through a couple different videos from looking from the outside perspective of what's taking place here as an airdrop and a distribution, and the idea of incentives and aligning the users of the network with the benefiting of the network. And this is what FLR has designed. They're system engineering the distribution of the token and then aligning the incentives with the network. FLR team is not a centralized entity who controls the network. Validation power will be transferred during observation period, which we are currently in right now on July 25th, probably for another 6 weeks plus, and that will decentralize the network. So this is very important. There's a DAO governance built in. We are going to discuss the DAO governance. We're going to discuss exactly how the new proposal works in that it's similar to the F-asset system. We're going to explain the claim that you did have at 85% and how the voting will take place. So sit back, and we got a bunch of content here to go through. So right here on the March 30th, this is the big roadmap blog, right? FLR roadmap. This came out a few months ago. Right here. I made it nice and big so everyone could see it. Governance update on token distribution. So this shouldn't come as a surprise, is what I'm getting at here. This was in multiple blogs, and it's even referenced in recent blogs. And after 2 years of what they've built, this has turned into a much larger engineering project than initially planned. They initially was just going to bridge a couple assets like XRP, Litecoin, over to a smart contracts EVM, and now it's turned into a massive interoperability protocol with multiple Oracle systems, bridging Web 2 to Web 3, and having multiple different roles in the network. So, network participation and incentives and weak hands. This is from over a year ago. So a lot of people have waited patiently, and they've put in a lot of time. They've put in a lot of effort to learn about the FLR network and understand how this complex technology is going to be used and how it could be revolutionary in this adoption of blockchain, crypto, and applications built on top of it. We have to keep in mind, this is not just an airdrop. It's a network launch, and then on top of the network, projects get built, and you have a chance, the keys to the kingdom, because you have the opportunity to get the airdrop, or if you didn't get the airdrop now, you have a chance to buy in. Not financial advice, but this is from a year ago, and it still applies perfectly. The message has been the same consistently since the beginning. In addition, even though the proposal is going to change the distribution a little here, the message is exactly the same. In addition to limiting excess liquidity, the structure of the distribution provides much larger rewards for participants and bring value and utility to the network. These can be participants that either already have FLR through the claim, or participants that buy FLR from the people that decided to sell it. The reason why I didn't say Spark is Spark is no more. It's just FLR and FLR. So that's for another video we'll discuss, but no more Spark. Which didn't really, now that we're getting close, things have to change. Just like we have governance baked into the system, it's like a big ship, and over time we have to pull different levers, monetary levers, different parameter levels, and it's a community governance. It's very important to understand. It's a DAO, literally, as a layer one. So the participation is very important of who's in the system and who's not, and you're going to see a different type of perspective here, and not just something that you're owed. It's an opportunity to be able to participate and be a founding member of the community of FLR Network. Now, not everyone is going to want to be that, and that's fine. But a lot of people put in a lot of time, a lot of effort to gain a lot of knowledge in preparation for this. Then there were people who sold their IOUs of a future FLR, but it's not FLR, that's a future derivative of it. That was their choice. Now, are they excluded? We're going to talk about that. No, they're not excluded. They didn't lose their claim. They just have to come back and buy. You don't just get money for free. All right, so let's move on. The token distribution structure means the percentage rewards for participating early are the highest they will ever be. And this applies to absolutely the beginning here when FLR Network launches. Even though this is a year old, it absolutely applies because it will be the highest, and I'm going to explain why. And I have not seen anyone explain this yet. And this comes directly from Hugo. It's going to work just like the F-Asset system minting rewards work. The rewards as a percentage then reduce in size over time as the network matures and the token distribution unfolds. This boosted rewards percentage is achieved without changing the planned token supply at all.
Creating optimal outcomes for the whole system means effect.
All right, so we're going to listen to a video that's going to explain how users of the network create these feedback loops that benefit the network, and they also benefit themselves. Aligning incentives is one of the most important things because they're building something, they're designing the technology and the architecture, but they're engineering a system. This isn't a speculative market forever. Like, we're moving past that, and FLR is building something for the future. If you just want a handout and you come and go, that's fine. But for those who see what's being built and want to participate and see the interoperability to Web 2 to Web 3 and the potential, there's no guarantee it's going to be super successful, but it's based on the community. If you get the right users and align their incentives with the network, why was the XRP community chosen to get the airdrop? Because of FXRP. XRP has been a pet rock, literally. It doesn't come with yield. It's been obviously under scrutiny with the whole case going on now at Ripple for the last basically almost 2 years. And before that, it was a lot of pivot to institutions, but it ultimately is for retail, and it will always be. So that nonsense is a contradiction to public blockchains, but it gives you the ability to use it with EVM smart contracts, and it comes with in-baked yield. So that's why we were chosen as the XRP community. So let's listen. This is system engineering and how it creates these positive feedback loops, and you don't have negative externalities. Remember that phrase, negative externalities, and just think of who some negative externalities could be.
Creating optimal outcomes for the whole system means effectively linking the payoffs of the individual to those of the whole system, and thus reducing negative externalities. Every action that an agent takes has an effect, and we can ask what are the repercussions of those actions, and who bears the costs and benefits. When an actor gains from an action, but the costs are borne by others, this is a negative externality. Costs and benefits. When an actor gains from an action, but the costs are borne by others, this is a negative externality.
So what would a negative externality be? So the initial distribution was set up to go to roughly he said 1 million to 7 million accounts, depending on exchanges and people who claimed from the XRP snapshot. And we know that's 65% or more of the distribution, the airdrop, is going to exchanges. This proposal removes numerous things and risks. It removes the exchanges completely out of the mix. You don't have to trust the exchange to distribute 3 years of a claim to you. There's no more claim. Your claim will be claimed on the network now if you participate, and all you simply have to do is delegate your vote to the FTSO, which already earns FTSO rewards. So now you're compounding the FTSO rewards, which are going to be twice a week on FLR network, so every 3.5 days. We're currently at 7 days on Songbird, so that's new. I do want to reiterate, the proposal is not fully out yet. We've gotten some details, the big details, but there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of misunderstanding within the community. If you are looking to participate or even just hold your airdrop, you're going to earn a lot more. But there's a reason why you're earning. The idea is so you could build up FLR as collateral. Then when the F-Asset system launches, you could mint and earn even more and now get your XRP on there in a low risk situation and use it in smart contracts. So it's allowing you to deploy that value. And then from there, there's dApps and a whole ecosystem gets built. So it's not just about free handouts here. So this was March 30th. Through extensive additional engineering and research, we have further developed our initial ideas and protocols to build something much more exciting. This is not the FLR that we will be delivering, which was that early one from the L1 in 2020. So this is extensively more additional research engineering. And we know this because they added a whole doctorate engineering team that was not part of the FLR team per se, and they brought them on in 2021 because this is a massive undertaking. So there's a lot of people, if you've been following, you know this, but we have to remember, and those of you who have been following, that the community, there's a lot of projects out there. You know, people have lives, they have families, they, you know, don't have time to always follow everything. But this does take some time. You know, if you sold your IOU and, you know, you left for 6 months and didn't pay attention to FLR, and now you come back, you know, and you stomp on your feet that you think you're not getting your free payout, I mean, sorry, sympathy for you. Just pay attention and you'll realize that you didn't lose anything. You already made a profit, and you're going to have to buy back and participate. And that's how the network should be. And all of us who spent a year, 6 months, longer, understanding and learning the network to be able to take advantage of it, should not have negative externalities, and that would be taco stands. So instead of all these people on receiving the airdrop on an exchange, so they would receive it, millions of accounts, 2.37% of their claim every month for 36 months, right into an exchange account. Boom. What would that do? That would just be consistent sell pressure. We're talking about number-wise, and I'm going to break down the numbers too for you. I have all the actual hard numbers. 3.9 billion is being airdropped. I'm going to show you. 21.9, I believe it is. It's just below 22 billion is the remaining 85%. So it's 15% of the claim from the snapshot. Now, Ripple didn't get any. Jed didn't get any. The scam accounts didn't get any. No whales over $1 billion. I don't think any individual account had over $1 billion. Maybe just like Bitbank and Exchange, which is thousands of users. But no individual account had anywhere really near to be whales. So it's a community effort. And you're not going to be able to get the rest of the distribution unless you participate. But the whole claim itself, your individual claim, no longer exists after the proposal goes through. So we're going to talk about that. I don't want to jump ahead too far. So FLO2, this is the governance update on token distribution. The team has been working on a governance proposal regarding the token distribution. Now this is, remember, March 30th. They told you that, right? And these are the three things that it's meant to remove the risks of. An exchange failing to pass on future token distributions. So we've all seen in the past few months, all these things go down, the Celsiuses, the Voyagers, the Vols. You know, do you want to trust an exchange for 3 years to get the set amount of what a snapshot was from 2 years ago of the XRP that you had then, or anyone who had then? No. Now it's going to come through the network and be distributed through the treasury. It's still going to be 36 months. It's going to be just distributed in a very different way, and it's going to be much higher rewards for those who are engaging. So now those people who are on the fence and were like, oh, I could take this free money and sell and, you know, sit on the exchange and play it both ways. You're not going to be a negative externality to everyone else who wants to participate. Not happening. We have the ability to design a system. We're not here to give handouts to the XRP community. You have an opportunity, and you have products that are built for you. All the value, everything that's built on Flare flows into the FLR tokens. So you, if you receive the airdrop, you still have the advantage because there's no FLR out there. Nobody was able to buy it privately. There was no token sales, public or private. So your airdrop is only of 3.9 billion, which overall of the 100 billion total is not that much, but it's a lot, whatever you have relative to what's coming out. So you have an advantage basically. And those who don't participate, they don't get any of that 85%. That all goes now filters into the people who do participate. This is creating positive feedback loops, and it's bringing the users who participate. These are community-driven networks. They're not just tokens that magically get price sets and become global reserve currencies and pay off debts. That's not what they are. You know, there's fantasy land and there's reality land. This is a reality. That's what these are meant to be used for at their core. Will there be institutional uses for them? Absolutely. Will there be applications and DeFi and all that type of stuff? And we're going to see more consumer-facing apps. But the asset, the native token, FLR, comes with some very powerful utilities. It's a governance token, and Flare is a DAO. And on top of that, I'm going to talk about it more because I have to show everybody. This hasn't really been talked about much. I talked about it in the Vote Power video a little, if you go back and look at that one. There's special contracts added to WFLR. So it's automatically going to wrap these when the proposal gets voted on. You have a governance vote power with your FLR or wrapped FLR, and you have a FTSO vote. These are basically contracts that go through use APIs, and they're in a way detachable, but they're connected to your account at all times. So you could delegate to an FTSO and earn the rewards from that FTSO. So if you participate on Songbird, you know what that's all about. But what's great here is you're going to be earning that anyway, those twice a week, right? It's 10% inflation of whatever the supply is out there. So it's not going to be a crazy amount with the inflation. Now, we got to wait for details in the proposal because that can only be changed once every year. So there's parameters that are set. And it's important, you got to know all this. So jumping to conclusions, making assumptions, relax. I'm here to bring you the facts. They're a little deeper. They're definitely, going to be a little more high level for some if you haven't been following. So I suggest go back to the FLR's presentation, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Watch that. That will kind of give you a breakdown of what they're building and then go into the different topics. All right, so second thing, substantially increase the incentive to engage in the network. This is very important because there's people who want to engage, right? If you wanted to engage, this proposal is great for you. I have over 550 people in Mickey B. Fresh Patreon group. And once everyone understood what the proposal meant, there was not a single person who was against that. And I said, if you are against this, be honest and tell me. Not a single person, because they all understood they're there to participate and they know they're going to earn. So the only people really who are against this is if you were looking for a free handout every month and you were just going to sell into it. You're going to be able to earn more this way. And you also engage the network. You have less risk. So now you don't have to deal with exchange risk. You get to create your own self-custody FLR account, and you get to receive it in there monthly. And literally, when I say participate, it's you could hold custody of your asset and just click delegate in the wallet. Like, we're talking very simple participation. So, there will be more levels of participation, when it comes to minting of assets and using FLR's collateral and other things, but the basic participation to get the distribution from the treasury is very easy to do. And then provide positive tax implications such that a majority of the recipients can avoid generating a taxable event until they claim their token allocations. I'm not going into the taxes. Basically, it just means, because I saw some people on Twitter going nuts with the tax thing. If you don't want to claim it every month, you could have it just build up and then claim it once. All right, so that satisfies that problem. So 3 things checked off here. Now, Hugo's I'm just gonna play a video so you could hear it from him. This is one of the 2 videos from Bearable Bull's interview. If you didn't see that interview, it was excellent. Bearable Bull asked some great questions. Hugo provided some great information for all of us. And here's what the proposal, and this is how it should be. I am 110% on board with this because we need the right type of users when you're building a network. The XRP community is not going to be necessarily a mirror image on FLR. It's going to have a lot of overlap, absolutely, but it doesn't mean everyone's invited, but not everyone necessarily is going to stay and participate.
The idea behind the proposal is to distribute directly through the network, such that you get the 15% through your exchange, and then the rest is distributed through the network. Such that you get the 15% through your exchange, and then the rest is distributed through the network. Up to you whether you decide to receive it through the network. Obviously, if you don't, you won't get it. But you need to engage with the network to receive the rest. You need to engage with the network to receive the rest. You need to engage with the network to receive the rest.
That will conclude part 1 of this 2-part series. It was just too much information to put into one video. So part 2 will be released either this evening or tomorrow morning. I'm Mickey B. Fresh, and I'm out.